All right, everybody, Fern back here, best hour. We are gonna get young Katie here to a kipping dip. So that's what we're gonna talk about today. As with everything, when we're talking about kipping versus strict, we always wanna promote strict movement prior to adding any sort of dynamic action of the hip. She has both strict pull-ups and strict dips, but what I wanna demonstrate here is how do I set an athlete up to do a strict dip versus a kipping dip, and then what is the difference between those two, how to execute them, because most people really struggle with the kipping. Most of that is because there's a timing error. So I'm gonna have her demonstrate one strict dip first, just so we can demonstrate that. Young Katie's a pretty good mover. Good, so clearly she can do that. Shoulder below the elbow, locked out. Now go ahead and try a kipping version of this. Okay, cool. So as she goes down, so go back down to the bottom of the dip here. Cool. What's happening is she's kicking down while trying to press up. So if we think about the benefit of kipping, I'm trying to get some sort of either hip opening or some sort of upward momentum to move in the upward direction. What I have here is two counteracting forces. So she's kicking down towards the floor while trying to press up. Most of the time, whether it's in rings or whether it's in these Matador straight dips, it's because the setup is incorrect. So if you just go down to the bottom of the dip. Cool. Yep, so go even lower. Good. So right now she has to be in a tucked knee position. Come on down. So she's already in the wrong position at the bottom of that. So if I'm going to kip, if you're at the bottom of a muscle up, so you catch the muscle up, you're in an extended position, because at that point now I can kick my knees up and then press. So when we're talking about the action, hop out real quick. So if we're talking about the action of a dip, let's just say I was freely suspended here. What's going to get me moving in the upward direction is going to be up, up. Right, so I'm gonna pull my knees up. That's gonna create the upward momentum for me to push up from there. So what I need to do is I need to set my athlete up so that at the bottom of the dip, they can be in something that would resemble extension. If I'm too low, I'm forced to be in a flexed hip position, which therefore I can't actually kip correctly. So, let's try this real quick. Now, a lot of people would think this is too high, but I'm not worried about the top position. The only thing I need to check here is to make sure that she wasn't close enough where she was gonna hit her head on the top of the pull-up bar. That's not gonna be an issue here. What I'm worried about is what does she look like at the bottom of the dip? So we're just gonna check that real quick. Go to the bottom of the dip. Good, extend your legs. This is exactly what I wanna see, so come on down. That position is going to allow her to pull her knees up and then press, because where she was doing it before, it's out of sequence. She's pushing down and then trying to press. So I'm pushing down in both directions. I want to create momentum upward because I'm trying to push in the upward direction. So from here, I just want you to, we're gonna go down to the bottom, go controlled, and then I'm gonna tap you on the leg. You're gonna pull your knees up and then press. So you're gonna be here, you're gonna go 1, 2. Okay, so go ahead and go to the top. Yep, start at the top. Lower yourself down to the bottom, so keep your legs straight. When I tap you, you're gonna pull your knees up and then press. Much better. So there she goes. She has a kipping dip, right? I just blew young Katie's mind because she's never done that before. And I didn't teach that to her beforehand because I wanted that to happen real time. And again, this is all about understanding the mechanics of movement and understanding like where the kip has value. If they're set up incorrectly, at no point do they have the opportunity to use the hip to get to extension to create upward momentum. So just to make sure that wasn't a fluke, go ahead and Katie, just remember at the bottom, we want to be in extension. So go ahead and give it a whirl here. So now she knows she needs to be an extension, knees, then hands. Good, so now she's kipping. She's not gonna burn out like she normally would because she's doing this out of order, okay? So think about how you set this up. You're welcome, right? Think about how you set this up. Again, if I don't set my athlete up for success, they're not going to be successful. Dips is one that most people will mess up because they have the rings set up like something, or the bar is about hip height. It should probably be closer to shoulder height in order to make sure that the bottom position is correct so that they can actually kip to the top. So if you guys got questions about that, hit us up. We're happy to give you more information.